Well, hello there, and welcome back to my channel, friends. While I'm setting up here with my June Planner Perfect, I just want to talk about what is going to happen in this video. And I apologize for it being quite so fast. This did take about an hour's worth of time, and I thought I would be kind and speed it up just a smidge. But my goal is to set up my entire Planner Perfect notebook. And I'm just showing you one quick week that I did. Plus this title page, which, is great real estate. I love that. But let's personalize it, make it our own. And I could make a list out of it. But what's the point in that? A lot. So let's just cover it up with a little bit of scrapbook paper and some journal cards. In the beginning of the booklet, there was like a half a week and one page. And so I decided to cover that up with some journal page scrapbook paper and make it like a running grocery list in the front of my planner. So, and then this side is just a little bit of decoration. I wanted to make sure I left enough space for, maybe errands and that sort of thing. I always love tabs, so you'll see me throughout here pulling up the washi tape tabs and putting regular ones. In the beginning of this Planner Perfect notebook is also a goals page. And I think last month I covered up that goals page and put a little scrapbook paper header on the top. This month I did a little bit of quote unquote watercoloring with my Tombos. And then you'll see here in a second, I added a couple rub-ons just to add a little bit of flourish. This again, I am not an artist, nor have I ever trained to be an artist. I'm just kind of making this my own, making it personalized and doing things that feel good and creative in it. I think I come back here with a little um, black marker just to round out the top. Now the pages in between the agendas for each week are several of the dot grid pages that are left blank, and there's enough for 2 pages per day, except for Saturday and Sunday, which would be one day. Of course, you can amend this, but that is the general consensus and idea behind how many pages she has in each booklet. Well, I went ahead and started doing my regular normal day per page. You'll see is the June 2nd and June 3rd. I have them back to back right here. And then once I write Monday and Tuesday on my headers that I created, I realized that's not my whole point of this entire. I wanted to have 2 pages per day to log, to agenda, and to do a little bit of scripting. So I went ahead and ripped it off. No harm, no foul. I just decided I needed to cover it up. And then you'll see that that flower clear sticker that I needed to cover up some of my ripping too. So it all works out in the end. I'm not worried about ripping stuff off. Then I turn the page and I go, well, now I need to cover up the backside because it got a little thin. So I wanted to make sure, again, I added a little bit more paper. This time, again, scrapbook paper. It's always a challenge to decide, okay, how am I going to use this paper and rip it in a way that it's pleasing? And so that's what I did. But when I flipped it over, I noticed that it had all of these, Monday through Sunday words. And I thought, oh, well, that would make a great header. And here I am not wanting to make another bulky header, but I just couldn't resist. And so then I highlighted every Tuesday word with a little Tombow marker. And then that is my Tuesday page. And I just was finding one of the alphas and an RD for third. Moving on, I'm realizing that it's getting a little bulky on top, so I don't want to add another paper header. So it's time to get a little bit more creative with my spread. So I turned this paper over and I noticed it had a bunch of houses and I loved the way it was created, but I needed more white space and I also needed not to have more bulk. So I decided let's recreate the paper on the spread by cutting out those houses, which I loved, and then using some markers to create the background. So it would be A, less bulky, and B, a little bit more fun creatively. Sometimes it's easy to mimic other papers instead of reinventing the wheel every time. And then you get a little bit more personalization. You feel like an artist. You feel like all special because you're doing it, but in actuality, you're just not reinventing the wheel, but just rolling forward with it. Just added a number with a mild liner and a Wednesday, and then that page is done. next, I think it's Thursday. Again, it still felt a little bulky. And I do have a remedy for that. I do have a very thick piece of cardstock. It's like a backer board almost. And I put it in between each day and it cuts down a lot on that excessive multi-page bulk. But I just cut out this random piece of paper that was on the back side of the houses, I believe it was. And then I had this huge page of acetate. I was like, oh, let's use these alphas. It's Thursday, let's use a TH, and then just find a number sticker for the top. I wanted to do something that kind of balanced out the page. So instead of adding more paper, I decided to be a little bit more creative. Again, just using a brush marker and just recreating those flowers on the side. But then I turn the page and go, oh, now I have this to cover up. So do you see how it kind of like evolves into do something that creates a challenge for you on the next page? I don't see it as a hindrance. I actually see it as like a positive challenge. What can I do to help this side of the page out? Unfortunately, what I did was I did this line of flowers and I did not do a correct number and spacing. So I ended up with the blue flower at the bottom. You'll see that I balance it out at the end with another blue flower at the top. That's not perfect, but this this whole project was very fun to do and not perfect at all. I loved this journal card. It's so bright and vibrant, and I loved the colors. But I thought it would look weird if I just plastered this journal card on the middle of a page. So I wanted to make my own background, and I just took some of my markers and just looked at that postcard and recreated it on the page. I mean, not really, but um, it just, a little blurry background kind of thing. And then you'll see I'm trying to cover up those last two stepping stones. I thought, well, I'll just do blue because that's what it is in the postcard. It did not work out. So we're going to cover those up with that journal card and everybody's happy. I'm happy. I don't have to look at those bright blue um, paving stones. Then I needed to balance this out a little bit. So I just put something right on the spine between the two pages, wrote my day, and then again, looking for alphas. I really enjoyed these green alphas. I used them a lot this week and in the other weeks because I have finished my booklet now. So you'll see a flip through of that some point of before the pen of all of the pages I did in my notebook. It did take some time, but honestly, I think long term, you use less time because you're doing it in bulk versus every single day getting out all your supplies and doing this. We're back to the top header with papers, but instead I used a journal card from the Planner Perfect kit and I just sliced it in half. Found those green alphas one more time and then a days of the week sticker and voila, done. Like it was one of the easiest tops to make and I think it's gorgeous. So here's a quick flip through of my entire booklet for just that one week. Thanks so much for joining me today with this. I hope you had fun and feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you see what you like and like what you see. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.